The rain poured like the sky itself was grieving. Nora walked blindly through the darkness, clutching a small bag that held everything she owned. A few clothes, her baking tools, and memories she wished she could leave behind. Her body shook violently from cold and shock. Mud splashed up her legs with every step. Lightning flashed, revealing the lonely road ahead. She had only one place in mind: Auntie Mercy's shop. If she could just get there, maybe she wouldn't sleep outside again. But the bakery was far and the rain was merciless. Her legs began to fail her. Just as she stumbled near the junction leading out of the village, headlights appeared through the storm. A car slowed, then stopped. The back door opened and a woman stepped out under a large umbrella. Elegant, composed, but her eyes softened the moment they landed on Nora's face. "Nora, is that you?" Nora froze. That voice. She struggled to see through rain and tears. Recognition struck like lightning. Madame? It was Mrs. Kemi Adebayo. Years earlier, during a grand 90th birthday celebration in the village, Auntie Mercy had baked the enormous cake for her husband's father. Nora had assisted that day, serving guests, arranging trays, running errands tirelessly from morning till night. Mrs. Adebayo had noticed her immediately. A quiet, beautiful girl, respectful, efficient, humble, never once complaining. Before leaving the party, she had pressed money into Nora's hand. "God bless you, my child," she had said warmly. Nora had never forgotten. But this time, Nora was not wearing a clean apron or shy smile. She was drenched, shivering, broken. "My God, what happened to you?" Mrs. Adebayo whispered. Nora's lips trembled. I don't have anywhere to go." Something deep in Mrs. Adebayo's chest tightened painfully. She had recently lost her husband. The grief was still raw, still heavy. But at that moment, another kind of pain surfaced, the pain of seeing a good child abandoned. "Get in the car," she said gently. No hesitation, no suspicion, no conditions, just kindness. At the hospital in Uyo, doctors treated Nora for severe cold, dehydration, and exhaustion. Mrs. Adebayo stayed, not out of pity, but out of something deeper: recognition. She remembered the girl who had worked tirelessly at that birthday party without expecting praise. When Nora finally woke up properly, confusion filled her eyes. Where am I?" "You are safe," Mrs. Adebayo said softly. The word hit Nora harder than any insult she had ever received. Safe. She broke down in uncontrollable sobs. Days later, Nora sat at a polished dining table in Mrs. Adebayo's quiet mansion. Before her was a plate of hot food, enough for 3 people. She stared at it cautiously. "All this for me?" "Yes," Mrs. Adebayo said gently. Nora began to eat, slowly at first, then faster, then desperately. Tears streamed down her face as she swallowed, afraid someone might snatch the plate away. Mrs. Adebayo turned her head, wiping her own eyes. No child should eat like that. Over the weeks, Nora slowly told her story. Not dramatically, not angrily, just fact by fact, like someone describing weather. School, hawking, sacrifice, insults, the rain. Mrs. Adebayo listened without interrupting. Then one afternoon she asked, "What do you want to do with your life?" Nora hesitated. No one had ever asked her that. I like baking." Mrs. Adebayo smiled, a real smile. "Then you will bake." Mrs. Adebayo owned several businesses in the city, including a struggling bakery that had been closed after her husband's death. She reopened it for Nora, not as a servant, as a trainee. Professional chefs taught her. She learnt measurements, decoration, pastry art, hygiene standards, business skills, and Nora absorbed everything like dry soil drinking rain. Within a year, customers were asking, who made this cake? Within 2 years, the bakery became one of the most popular in the area. Within 3 years, Nora wasn't just baking, she was managing. Within 5 years, she owned it. Mrs. Adebayo officially transferred it to her as a gift. You gave your life to people who never saw you, she said softly. It's time someone chose you. Nora cried in her arms like a child. Within a few years, she didn't just bake, she created magic. Cakes that told stories, pastries that melted in the mouth, natural drinks bursting with flavor. Eventually, she founded her own brand, Nolbake. Not just a bakery, a beautiful eatery-style space where people could sit, relax, laugh, celebrate, and forget their worries. Within 7 years, Nolbake became one of the most popular spots in Uyo. Everyone wanted to go there. One afternoon, Favor's university friend came to visit Uyo. Let's hang out at Nolbake, she suggested excitedly. Omo, that place is top tier. There are pastries, there are drinks, madness. Favor had heard the name before but had never gone. When they arrived, she was stunned. Elegant decor, soft music, aroma of fresh pastries, customers everywhere. They ordered, laughed, took pictures, then suddenly, a hush fell across a section of the room. A tall, graceful woman walked in, dressed simply but radiating authority. Staff greeted her respectfully. Good afternoon, ma. She's the owner, one of the girls whispered excitedly. That's Nora, CEO of Nolbake. Omo, that babe gets money, oh. She started just 7 years ago. Another added, I heard she didn't even finish secondary school. Favor's heart skipped. Something about the woman's face felt familiar. Where is she from? Favor asked quietly. From Ayo village, replied casually. Two of the girls turned to Favor. Wait, that's your village too, Abby? Favor's hands began to shake. She said nothing. That night, Favor could not sleep. She made calls, asked questions, checked old contacts, and the truth landed like a hammer. The CEO of Nolbake was her elder sister, Nora, the sister they insulted, used, abandoned. Favor cried until her throat hurt. By then, life had collapsed around them. Favor and her husband had lost their jobs. They couldn't pay rent. Eviction notice had been issued. In the village, things were worse. The mud house had collapsed during heavy rains. Her parents now lived with relatives, surviving on charity. But Favor couldn't bring herself to face Nora. Guilt chained her feet. After 2 weeks, she finally went to the village and told her family. Mama, I saw Sister Nora. Her mother scoffed. Stop lying. Favor insisted. She owns a big business. She drives expensive cars. She is rich. This time, her mother decided to see for herself. When Mama Nora saw her daughter stepping out of a luxury car at the bakery entrance, she froze. Shock turned to tears. She rushed forward. Nora, my daughter! Staff moved to block her, but Nora raised a hand calmly. Let her speak. Then came words Nora never expected. Nora, I always knew you were wicked, so you became rich and abandoned your family? Gasps rippled through nearby customers. You don't care that your sister is suffering? Your parents are homeless while you live in a mansion? Nora stared at her in stunned silence. For a brief second, she wondered if this woman was truly her mother. Then her expression hardened. Security. 2 guards stepped forward. Escort her out and do not allow her into this building again. Outside, Favor exploded in tears. Mama, we came to beg her. Why did you insult her? Her mother snapped back. She is the eldest. It is her responsibility to care for us. Favor shook her head violently. No, Mama, she already gave us everything, even her life. Her voice cracked. We never showed her kindness. Eventually, their father, ashamed and broken, gathered village elders and went to Uyo to apologize properly. This time, they approached with humility. No accusations, no entitlement, just remorse. Mama Nora cried genuinely now. Peter begged. Favor wept silently. Nora listened, quietly. Then she spoke. I forgive you. Relief washed over them. But she continued. Forgiveness does not mean closeness. She built them a modest but solid house in the village, helped Favor's husband secure a stable job through her connections, ensured they would not suffer again. But she kept her distance. No regular visits, no emotional entanglement, no returning to the past. This Nora loved herself too much to disappear again. 1 year later, Nora married Mr. Ekom, a respected oil and gas magnate. Their traditional wedding in Ayo village became historic. Luxury cars filled the roads. Influential guests arrived from across the country. Music, food, celebration everywhere. Mrs. Adebayo attended, beaming with pride. Auntie Mercy handled the small chops and pastries. When Nora stepped out in her bridal attire, the entire village went silent. The girl they once ignored had become royalty. As Nora and her husband drove back to the city after the ceremonies, she looked out the window at the fading village. If someone had told her years ago that her life would turn out this way, she would never have believed it. She took her husband's hand and smiled softly. For the first time in her life, she felt full, not just with success, but with peace and gratitude.